Should a man shave his balls or not, and why? I told the barber high and tight and he told me to get the hell out of his shop. Give it a beard and mustache, name it, have style. I usually shave the front and leave it long in the back ball. I prefer mine shaved. It feels cleaner. Shave the balls and shaft, trim the root. I go half and half. A man who is expecting guests cleans his house. Shave? Dude, I laser, it's like a turtle shell down there. Only for the homies. Why shave? I just get tweezers and pluck them out one by one. If you want it licked, it will be shaved. My wife. How hairy is the rest of your body? I shaved down there once, my wife just laughed and laughed, was not impressed with my bald spot. I do. My wife likes to suck my balls during sex and she prefers them hairless. They're going in my mouth either way, I'd gawk. At the age of 12, I received my first scribe. At the age of 14, a Zoroastrian named Vilma ritualistically shaved my testicles. There really is nothing like a shorn scrotum, it's breathtaking. I suggest you try it. In your opinion, what is the dumbest way to spend time? Sitting in traffic. I hate when I'm at work, and I've finished all my tasks for the day, or hit the quota, and my supervisor tells me to look busy. Spending time worrying about what other people think of you. Doom scrolling. With a partner that doesn't care about you, and that starts a conversation with you and forgets that you are there. Edit, OMG, thank you to those that gave me the awards, I sincerely appreciate you, and I cannot tell you all enough how much I love seeing so much support for each other, and the advice and different perspectives you've all given me. I hope to see this continue so everyone's voices, needs, and ideas can be heard. Yesterday, I got sucked into watching casino streamers all evening. Working off the clock. Doing something you don't like in your leisure time. Fuck all the other answers, let's be real. People enjoy browsing Reddit or they wouldn't be here. If you enjoy your time, it's not a waste. People are so melodramatic on this site and self-loathing. Getting so drunk that you don't even remember the night before and feeling sick the whole next day. Complaining about how boring your life is, and knowing that you need to get stuff done. But then you think that while also scrolling on your phone for hours. Working your life away so you can afford to stay alive to work more. What to do when your partner has a lower sex drive than you? Looks like it's just you and me again, right? T. Mad turbate in the shower. You have 3 options. 1. Accept that they have a lower sex drive and deal with it. 2. Don't accept it, break up and move on. 3. Sit down and have a conversation to try to find some middle ground you can both accept. If this fails, see options 1 and 2. Edit. Well, this got some attention. Been seeing some duplicate comments in response and want to address them. There are no other numbers. Just those 3. But what about no all of them are included above? Masturbation, that would be included in number 1 as part of deal with it, in number 2 by necessity since you'll be single, and number 3 because you still probably wouldn't be getting as much as you want. It doesn't need its own number. Cheating? No. Just no. If you can't get everything you need in a relationship from your partner, then you need follow the 3 steps above. Cheating is never okay. Only assholes cheat. Don't be an asshole. Open relationship, part of the middle ground in number 3. Allowed visit to sex worker, see open relationship. Sex toys, porn, etc., see masturbation. Talk to a doctor or therapist, part of the conversation and middle ground in number 3. Credit to those below who mentioned these things so I could mention them here. Seriously. If you are having any sort of problem in your relationship, then you need to communicate. Nothing will get fixed if you don't communicate. If you can't communicate for some reason or the communication resolved nothing, then you either have to accept it and stay in the relationship or break up and try to find someone that will fulfill your needs. Thanks for the upvotes and the awards. I have been married to an asexual person for 20 years, I have a lot of insight into this particular question. I am a bisexual female with a relatively high sex drive. Before we got together, I was used to having a lot of sex in my relationships, but sexual activity definitely didn't need to involve a penis. My husband is a straight man and, when we first got together, we had a totally normal amount of sex. I felt sexy and desired and loved. Over time, that dropped off. I went on a birth control around that time that totally killed my libido, so I didn't really notice. However, it also really messed with my brain and my past struggles with suicidal ideation came back, so I went off the birth control. We didn't really have a sex life from that point on. I should clarify that, at this point, neither of us had any idea that he was asexual or that it was a thing. All I knew was that we were no longer having sex and I felt like there must be something wrong with me. Media always portrays straight relationships with the man constantly desiring sex, so it made me feel like there was very much something wrong with me. I didn't know it at the time, but it also made my husband feel like there was something wrong with him. His stories aren't mine to share, but this is something that predates our relationship and he came into our relationship with some baggage of his own around his essentially non-existent sex drive. At some point, I became extremely frustrated. We had a_lot_ of conversations and a_lot_ of arguments. I lurked the dead bedroom subreddit for a while, which I am not linking on purpose because I found it to be a completely awful place which did not help me at all. After a fight, we might have sex, but it felt like pity sex that I had guilted him into having with me, and that really didn't help me to feel sexy or desired or loved. We had a couple of multi-year stretches without sex at all, including on our anniversary, which is normally when I would cry because it was like a reminder of yet another year without any sexual relationship, and sometimes that would lead to pity sex and sometimes it would lead to nothing. This is not to say that we did not have our good times. After our kid was born, which was a traumatic experience and we both almost died, the very moment we got home from having my stitches removed so it was safe to have sex again, he took me with a passion I have never experienced at any other point in my life. I think the fear of losing your partner can do that to a person. Yes, we have a kid. It was planned, we had scheduled intercourse exactly once and got lucky on the first try. He had to get drunk first to muster up the courage for it. Another positive milestone forward was when I made friends with another woman in a similar situation. It was the first time I ever felt less alone and we could have conversations and understand each other. I began to have more fruitful conversations with my husband, in part because the road my friend's marriage was going looked pretty bleak and I was desperate for that to not happen. I expanded my definition of sex. As I said at the top, I am a bisexual woman, so penis in vagina was never necessary for me to feel like I had sex. I figured that an orgasm, mine he was not interested in receiving, was all that was necessary for the definition to be met. Actually, that whole he was not interested in receiving was another hurdle I love to give, and it is so difficult to have your gifts rejected. That did help, but even that was a pretty high bar. He is just really not interested in the whole thing. More recently, I have come to a situation that I find works for me. The question that I asked myself was, what do I want from a sex life? And my answer was 3 parts. 1. Sexual fulfillment. 2. Physical intimacy. 3. Feeling desired. The first part is the easiest one. I can take care of that on my own, he does not need to be physically present for it. The second one is the one we have to constantly work on. I get snuggle time periodically, where I get the physical intimacy and connection that I crave. Sometimes it's extremely G-rated, literally just snuggling. Sometimes I ask him to take my bra off, just the act of him removing it is so suggestive to me, and it isn't overtly sexual for him, so he's not uncomfortable. On rare occasions, it might escalate into him touching my boobs. For me, that's pretty much the height of sexual activity at this point. These encounters do help with my imagination during part 1. The third one is tough. To be honest, I am still really working on this one. The point of this long-winded comment is to say that it's really a journey and a process. I love my husband so much and I cannot imagine my life without him, and so it was worth it to suffer through all the fights and all-night conversations to get to a point where we understand each other and are able to meet my needs without making him uncomfortable. While it's true that he wants me to be happy and is willing to do whatever that takes, I also don't ever want to feel like I am pressuring him into something that he doesn't want to do. It's a delicate balance and the details will be different for everyone, but the important part is being willing to have open conversations with your partner and be willing to re-envision what a successful sexual relationship looks like. Masturbate when I get sexually frustrated. Have a child, it will equal out to 0. Worked for us flawlessly.